Hi, Filter here. Originally, I was going to do a review on Doctor Who, The Demons of the Punjab. I'll have to save that for another time. Unfortunately, sadly, you have all heard that comics legend Stan Lee has passed away. This is, I guess, a third person in a row of comics and sci-fi that I can think of at the moment who's passed beyond the veil, if you will. The loss of Steve Ditko and Harlan Ellison. I can only go by interviews and what other people say about Stan Lee. And from what I gather, he was a complicated man. He, although he is blamed for the things that happened to Kirby and Ditko, I really don't think he was malicious at doing it. I think he was, honest to goodness, just a writer of comics and adventure and sci-fi. We've often heard the stories of how he had to put things out when he first started working for Timely and then eventually Marvel. And I gotta relate this one interesting tale. Stanley, I think it's in his autobiography. He describes going to Hollywood parties for the first time, and people would ask him, "What do you do for a living?" And he would say, "I write children's books." And when they pressed him, he says, "Yeah, I write comic books." And then they kind of, I guess, snubbed him by saying, "Oh yeah, nice," and just walk away. But then, like 10 years later or something like that, he would go to these parties and they would ask him what does he do, and then oh, you're Stan Lee. Oh my god, I read your books. Oh, I got the collection. Oh yeah, that issue with the silver star. I mean, it was stuff like that. His collaboration with Kirby and Ditko, and I mean, it was amazing. I mean, the X-Men also an amazing um sort of desperate times calls for desperate measures. He couldn't think of any way of an origin story for the X-Men until he just said, "What if they were born with this?" And that desperate move, the desperate idea worked. It worked. We've had a franchise that's lasted 50 years so far. We Most of us are not terribly surprised that he passed away, because after all, his wife did pass away, I believe, earlier this year, and it's only a matter of time when people who are together for an extremely long time, they feel empty and they soon pass along with their spouse. Like I said, Stanley, his imagination, or shall we say his innovation. I mean, he took the idea of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, combined it with Frankenstein, and gave us the Hulk. Amazing. Amazing. I it's there's I just I'm just in awe when I think about it. Um, those of you who might have this, but I'm going to point it out. You can find it on YouTube. He sits down with comic book legends. He sits down with John Romita. He sits down with Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane. I think Will Portacio, and a host of others, I believe. And he goes through the process of comics and comic art, storytelling. The man was 95 years old. He was there long before we were born, putting out comics, and his name will be forever remembered as the guy who gave us comics as we know them today. He set things in a sense that they were so real. There wasn't a metropolis, there was a New York City where his heroes were based. You know, there was Yucca Flats and stuff like that. And he he made sure that we knew. I, I really don't know how to describe it, but that's what he gave us. He gave us the sense that these people are real. You felt for them. You felt for Spider Man. You felt for Bruce Banner. You felt for Ben Grimm, the Thing. You felt for these characters. He wrote them in this manner. Well, there's probably going to be a host of other videos of individuals giving their thoughts and their wishes. You know, I'm pretty sure Razorfist will give us a Godspeed to Stan the Man Lee. And you know what? It's well deserved. Rest in peace, Stan Lee. Rest in peace.